So, there's another TikTok girl. I never thought I would have to say those words in that order in my life, but here I am saying those words. So, for the last 2 weeks, I would say, I haven't been uploading super consistently. I've been extremely busy with some music stuff and hanging out with family and stuff like that. But I'm kind of glad that I took a little bit of a hiatus because some really funny / interesting story times came out of it. And today I'm going to talk about the most important one, the craziest one. And I hope you enjoy it. Leave a like on the video if you do, and let's get into it. So today's story time all takes place last weekend. It was Saturday. I was doing nothing on this day. The week leading up to it, I had a bunch of stuff going on, so I was kind of just going to take Saturday to just relax and not do anything. And of course, while I'm relaxing, watching my show on the couch, I get a phone call. And I look down at my phone, I look at the caller ID, and it's a number that I've never seen before. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to answer that. So I sent it to voicemail. I just ignored it. I kept watching my TV. And I looked down at my phone again, and I see that number that called me was leaving a voicemail. And it was showing me on my screen what they were saying. And I saw the text, and it said, "Yo, dude, it's Brandon. Not sure if this is still your number. If you get this, just call me back." And immediately I felt like a dick because I knew who this was. It was Brandon. He must have gotten a new number or something because my contact that I had for him previously wasn't showing up when he called me. So yeah, after he was done leaving that message, I immediately picked up my phone and called him back 2 minutes later, and he answered. I was like, "Yo." He's like, "Austin, what's up?" I'm like, "Bro, my bad. I did not know that was you. I saw the number pop up. It was a random phone number." I was like, "Yo, I don't know who this is. I thought it was a telemarketer or some shit, but my bad." And he's like, "Dude, all good. I got a new number. Forgot to tell you. My bad." And I was like, "Dude, no worries. What's up?" And he's like, "Well, kind of last minute. And I'm sorry in advance for the last minute invite, but I'm having a birthday party tonight because my birthday's tomorrow and I'm celebrating it tonight instead. I'm having a bunch of people come over, a lot of people that you know. So if you want to pull up, pull up." Now, there was definitely a part in me, a very small part in my brain, probably about 20% of my brain that was telling me yo, don't go. Just sit inside, rot away, be lazy, don't socialize, and be a sluggish piece of shit. And the rest of my brain was telling me, "Austin, you haven't went out, you haven't seen your friends, you haven't had a social situation in quite a while. You've had enough time to wither away on the couch and do nothing. Go to the party tonight." So I went with that side of my brain. I was like, "Bro, don't you even worry. I'm going to be there tonight." He's like, "Bet, dude, can't wait to have you." And I was like, "Is this a party where we bring gifts? Do I have to stop at the store before I see you?" He's like, "Nah, dude, don't bring anything. No one's bringing shit. It's not one of those parties. It's more just everyone's here to have fun and hang out." I'm like, "All right, bet." So later that night, I got ready. Brandon told me to pull up at 8:30. So I had some time. And yeah, I got ready, took a shower, all that stuff, got dressed. And at 8 o'clock, my homie pulled up to my house and picked me up, another friend of mine that was going, and we rode over to Brandon's house together. Now I was excited, bro, because I hadn't seen Brandon in a long time. Just to give you a little bit of backstory on my boy Brandon, I met him when I was 10 years old. I met him at this gym I used to go to when I was a kid. They had teen nights and stuff, and I went there one night, and I met him there, and we just hit it off. We were super good friends, and we were friends for pretty much my entire life. He also went to the same high school as me, so that's why we had so many mutual friends and stuff like that, because when he got into high school, he went to my school, so, we had been friends for a long time. That's all I'm going to say, right? And recently, we hadn't really been talking just because we both were super busy. So yeah, it was the first time I'd be seeing Brandon in quite a while, probably 8 months. So yeah, your boy was excited to see him. So anyway, we pull up to Brandon's house 10 minutes later, me and my friend. We walk on inside. Brandon's sitting there at the table right by the front door. He runs up to us, gives us both a hug. He's saying hello. We're just talking, catching up. And after that, he invites us in. He's like, "Yo, come in. Everyone's here. Come hang out. There's drinks on the counter. There's drinks in the fridge. Whatever you want, take it." And the party was awesome. This is not one of those stories where the party just takes a left turn and becomes really, really bad. The party from start to finish was fucking amazing. At least in my experience, it was. I left a little bit earlier than everybody else, but I had a great time, and, I was there for probably 4 hours, and it was really, really fun. But anyway, fast forward to me leaving the party. This is really where it starts, okay? This is where things get a little bit crazy. So, I'm leaving the party, right? Me and my friend, the person I came with, we're leaving together. He didn't drink anything, so he was able to drive. I had maybe 2 drinks. I wasn't drunk or anything. I felt pretty much the same from when I got there. But we're leaving the party. We said goodbye to Brandon. He told me to keep in touch and we'll hang out again soon. And it was a great night, right? I left this party thinking the night was over and that everything was perfect, right? It was the perfect night, perfect way to end a night. It was great, right? Well, me and my friend get into his car and he starts driving me back to my house. He starts driving me home to drop me off. And about halfway through the drive, he looks over at me and he's like, yo, are you hungry? And I was like, bro, I am starving. He's like, dude, I am hungry as fuck. You want to stop and get food? I was like, bet. So we decided to stop at this 24-hour diner in my city. It's like a pretty cool diner. They're open literally all the time, and their food's pretty good for being a 24/7 spot. So I was excited to eat there, right? So yeah, it only took us like 10 minutes to get there. We got to this diner, we walked in. It was pretty packed because it was a weekend night, so a lot of people would go there and eat after the bars would let out and stuff. So there's a lot of drunk people in there eating, having a good time, which was fine by me. I don't mind drunk people having a good time. Nothing wrong with that, right? As long as we get a table, that's all I cared about. We got in there, and the hostess at the front was like, yeah, we have one table. Like, go take it. It's in the back left. So we went back there. We sat down. We got a table. Everything was good, right? And our table was directly in front of this booth that had 4 drunk women in the booth. And they were very drunk. This wasn't like they were a little bit tipsy, like just got out of the bar. They were fucking hammered. Like, they probably got kicked out of whatever bar they were at because they were so drunk. But like I said a second ago, it's no big deal. As long as they're just like doing their own thing, having fun, who cares, right? Well, that was until about 15 minutes later, right? So after me and my boy had sat down, we looked at the menu for a little bit, we ordered our food. We're just sitting there waiting for our food, right? And these drunk girls start throwing shit at us. Yeah, I'm sitting there and I'm like just waiting for our food, right? I'm on my phone, and a straw wrapper that was wet, a soaking wet straw wrapper, lands on my neck. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I like grab it off my neck. It's all cold and soggy. It looks like it's covered in like Pepsi or Coke or something, some soda. And I was like, ew. And I just kind of throw it on the ground, and I turn around, and these girls are giggling, laughing their ass off, not even trying to be discreet. They just threw this at me, right? So I bend down and I pick the wet straw wrapper up off the ground that I just threw down there. And I hold it up in front of them, and I was like, hey, does one of this belong to you? I think you may have dropped it on my neck. And they all start laughing even harder. And then this one girl speaks up, and she's like, I'm so sorry I threw that. I didn't mean to hit you. I was trying to land it on your table and get your attention. Like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, all good, don't worry about it. And my friend's like, yeah, no worries, like no big deal. And I was like, why'd you want my attention? And then she goes, are you guys single? Now this question completely threw me off guard for 2 reasons. 1, that's just not what I expected. And 2, these women were a lot older than us, okay? They were probably like late 30s, maybe even early 40s. We're in our 20s. So it was kind of surprising to have them ask that. But we answered honestly. I was like, I'm not single, sorry. And my friend's like, I am. And this girl goes, well, we have a wedding coming up in like 2 days, and we need dates, me and my friend. And she points to her friend at the table. She's like, we don't want to go to this wedding with no dates. We don't want to show up without anybody. We want to have someone to dance with at our friend's wedding. Like, would you guys want to go with us? And me and my friend kind of look at each other with this look of like, we're not going to say yes to this because they're obviously hammered and probably wouldn't ask us this if they weren't drunk. So we both look back at them, and I was like, I really appreciate the invite, but I can't. I have a girlfriend, and also a wedding doesn't really sound like my scene. Sorry. And I was just trying to like let them down, nicely, right? And my friend's like, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, I'm single, but I don't really want to go to a wedding with a bunch of people I don't know. I really appreciate the invite, though. You both seem like really sweet girls. Thank you. And he was being nice about it, right? And these girls get like super offended. Like, one of them like turns the other way and like completely rolls her eyes. And the other one, the one that was talking to us, she was like, whatever. And she like goes back to eating her food. And her friends that were at the table were giving us dirty looks too. It was just so awkward. So me and my friend, we turn around, we try and pretend like it didn't happen and just kind of ignore their table, and hopefully they ignore us, right? And that's the end of it. And like 10 minutes later, our food shows up. We start eating. Everything's fine, right? I thought that was the end of it. Unfortunately, whenever I think something's over with, it's never over with. So me and my friend are like 5-10 minutes into eating our food. And all of a sudden, while I'm eating, I feel something hit the back of my neck again. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck is it now? So I reach behind me, I grab this mystery thing that hit my neck, and it's a piece of napkin with ketchup on it, which just really kind of grossed me out for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why they kept throwing shit that was wet. It was so nasty they kept doing that. So I turn around and I'm like, hey, guys, can you please stop throwing stuff at us? Like, I'd really appreciate it. And this girl, the one that was talking to us before, she goes, I meant to hit you that time. And I was like, cool, can you please not do it again? I'd really appreciate it. And I go back to eating my food, right? Well, you guys want to guess what happens next? Sure enough, a couple minutes later, some shit hits me in the head this time. This time, it was solid feeling. It didn't feel like a wet napkin or a wet straw wrapper, and it fell down to the ground after it hit me. And I looked down, and it's a fucking French fry. They hit me in the head with a seasoned French fry, dude. Shit looked delicious, and they hit me with it. French fries are not weapons, they are food. So naturally, now I'm very upset. I'm a little pissed off. And by a little pissed off, I mean pretty pissed off, right? And my friend's also very angry because I keep getting hit by this girl throwing shit, right? So my homie stands up and he goes over to the front desk and he snitches on him, which was kind of funny because I didn't think he was going to do that. I just was going to sit there and deal with it till they left, but he felt like snitching. So he went up there. He told the hostess, like, hey, these drunk girls keep throwing stuff at my friend. Can you please move them? And they did. The hostess came over and they were like, guys, you have to move tables. If you don't want to move, you got to get out. And these girls stood up and they started throwing a fit. This girl's like, fuck this. Like, I don't want to eat here anyway. I'm not paying my fucking bill. Fuck y'all. And these girls all leave. They storm out of the front of the diner without paying their bill. And while they walked out, they were just being super loud and annoying. They were like, fuck you, fuck y'all. They threw the finger at me and my friend and the hostess. It was just real toxic, right? They made a scene. The whole restaurant saw it. It was kind of embarrassing, kind of awkward, but they left. And I was happy they left. And after they left, I looked over and I could see the hostess looked kind of stressed. She looked really, really like upset that they walked out without paying their bill and caused a scene like that. And she was cleaning off their table. And I was like, hey, I'll pay their bill. Because them walking out without paying is such bullshit. And I don't want that coming back on you. So I got it. And she was like, no, you don't have to do that. Seriously, like, don't worry about it. And I was like, nah, fuck that. You guys are a local place. Like, you're all really nice people. Your food's good. Like, they should not have walked out on you like that. That's bullshit. Like, I got it. And she's like, that's so nice of you. Let me go talk to my manager and then I'll let you know. And I was like, okay. So she walks away and me and my friend keep eating our food. We finish up. And like 10 minutes later, the hostess comes walking back to our table with the manager. He was probably like a, mid-30s, early 40s age guy. They both come up to our table and the guy's like, listen, I heard about what happened. You are not responsible for their bill. I don't want you paying for them. We'll just happily eat the cost. Like, seriously, it's not that big of a deal. And also, your food's free tonight. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, it's on us. Like, you shouldn't have to endure some stupid drunk booth full of people while you're just trying to eat your meal. Like, that's bullshit. And I was like, oh, man, thank you so much. Like, you don't have to do that. He's like, no, really, like, I do. And I'm like, well, thank you. And this dude let us eat for free. So shout out to that manager. You're the GOAT. I did tip them still. I left some money on the table for the waitress that served us. And I also gave the hostess some money because I felt bad for her. And I appreciated her sticking up for us. But anyway, after that, after we got done eating, after I thanked everybody, after me and my friend were leaving the place, right? We were leaving the diner. We're walking out. At this point, it was probably like 20 minutes, maybe almost 30 minutes since that whole ordeal happened with those girls. Well, we walk out of the diner, me and my friend, after saying goodbye to everybody, and we see those girls in the parking lot standing in front of some like piece of shit car that they drove there in, which is crazy that they were driving, by the way, because they were all drunk. And this one girl, the main one that we were talking to in there, she has her phone like propped up on the trunk of the car and she's talking to her phone. And as we like walk out the door and get a little bit closer, I can see that she's making a TikTok. She's talking to her phone, talking to TikTok, dude. And all the other girls are like surrounding her, like gassing her up while she records this TikTok, right? And they're like in it. And me and my friend look at each other and I was like, all right, let's just wait till they're done. Cause like, I don't want to walk into the frame and like be in their TikTok and deal with them being toxic as shit. Like, let's just wait till they're done recording. And after like 5 minutes or so, they're finally done. The girl picks her phone up off the car. Me and my friend start walking by them to get to our car because we had to. And one of them notices us. And she goes, well, look who it is. And they all turn and look at us. And the main girl, the one that threw that shit at me, she's like, oh, you guys come out for more? And I was like, we're just going to our car. Like, don't worry about us. We didn't come out here to argue with y'all. Like, we're leaving. And she was like, nah, fuck that. Y'all got us kicked out of our favorite restaurant. I don't fucking let that shit slide. And she starts opening up her purse. The girl that was throwing all that shit at me before, she starts opening up her purse, right? And I don't know what that means. That could mean like she's about to pull out a weapon. That could mean she's about to pull out like some lipstick. I don't know, right? Well, she pulls out a thing of pepper spray. And I'm like, oh, hell no. This is not about to happen. So me and my friend run to our car as fast as we possibly can. He unlocks it. We jump in there. We slam the doors. We lock them. And this girl comes up to our car and starts just macing his passenger side window right where I'm sitting. Just like spraying that shit all over the door, all over the window, trying to get it at me, right? But obviously it's not going to hit me because the window's up. But like she sprayed so much of it all over the window that some of it kind of like seeped into the car. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough to like make my eyes kind of water and like I could smell it. And it was burning my sinuses a little bit. So my friend's like trying to yell at her, telling her to fucking like knock it off and shit. But obviously she can't hear because the window's up and she's too busy spraying the window. So my homie says, fuck it. He turns his car on. He throws it in reverse. We back out of there fast as hell and we put it in drive and got the fuck out of that parking lot ASAP. Because my homie didn't want pepper spray all over his car anymore. And I didn't want it to keep seeping in. So yeah, we wanted to get out of there. But the story doesn't end there. No, it doesn't end there at all. It gets better. So after we pull out of the parking lot and we're driving away, I look out the window and I see them all like jumping up and down in the parking lot, throwing us the finger and shit, all angry. And I'm angry, right? I'm like, yo, I'm not about to let these girls get away with that. Like, that is not okay. So I pull up in my phone and I start dialing up the restaurant that we just came from, the diner. And the manager answers, the same manager we just spoke to. And I was like, hey man, my name's Austin. I was the dude that like you just gave us a free meal because of those girls. He's like, yeah man, what's up? And I was like, so you're probably not going to believe this, or maybe you will, but those girls are still in the parking lot. They just pepper sprayed my friend's car, trying to pepper spray us. And they're just in your parking lot, causing a scene. And also they drove here and they're all drunk. So do with that information what you will. He's like, oh, hell no, that's not going to fly. All right. Thanks for letting me know. I'm like, yeah, man, no problem. So we hang up. And after that, we go about our night. Me and my friend got back to my house. He dropped me off. He went back to his house. And the rest of that night was just fine. I just watched Netflix, fell asleep, right? Nothing out of the ordinary. Well, the next morning rolls around. I wake up and I have a text from that same friend that I just saw the night before. The one that drove me to the party, the one that was at the diner with me. And it's a text message to a TikTok account. It's a link to a TikTok profile. And the message he sends along with it was, bro, I just got this girl's TikTok on my For You page and she looked really familiar. And then I realized who it was. So I clicked the profile and I already knew what it was going to be. I already knew. And it's the girl from the diner that was throwing shit at me. It's her. Now, here's the downside. Whatever TikTok she filmed the night before, like in that parking lot drunk, it wasn't up. She didn't post it. So I couldn't see what she said in that video, but the rest of her videos were there and her account was there. And it was so crazy that my friend got one of her videos on his For You literally the morning after it happened. And guess what? This girl, she's got like 20,000 followers on TikTok. So she's got a little bit of some TikTok fame, I guess. I don't know. But that's probably why my friend got one of her videos on his feed, because she probably has a few viral videos that got her that 20,000 followers, right? Well, anyway, I see the profile. I'm like lost for words, right? So immediately I pick up the phone and I call my friend and I was like, yo, what the fuck, dude? He's like, I know, bro. Like, what are the chances of that shit? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. He's like, bro, I just had to send it to you. Like, that's so funny. And I was like, yeah, thank you. And he's like, bro, I hope she posts that video she was filming the night before. Like, I want to know what they were talking about. Like, I bet they made that video about us. And I was like, yeah, dude, she's probably ranting all salty that she got rejected by us for that wedding date invite. And he's like, dude, that'd be so funny. And I was like, yeah, well, we'll see if she posts, I guess. And after we talked about them for like, I don't know, like 5 or 10 minutes, he's like, what are you doing today? And I was like, not shit, just woke up. He's like, you hungry? I'm like, yeah, I'm starving. He's like, you want to hit that diner again? I'm like, sure, why not, dude? So literally like 20 minutes later, my homie picked me up and we went back to the same diner we were just at the night before where all this shit unfolded, right? And we walk in and the hostess seats us. We had different staff this time. It was like the morning shift staff. So that manager wasn't there and like the people that we saw the day before weren't there. But we sit down and we order our food and we're just sitting there. And while we're waiting for our food, I start to hear these two waitresses talking to each other like 2 tables down, and they're talking about the police being there the night before. And I hear one of them say, yeah, the cops had to arrest one of them. And I was like, excuse me, I don't mean to like listen in on your guys' conversation, but we were here last night and these girls were harassing us. Did your manager call the cops on them? And she goes, oh my God, you're the guys that they were harassing? I was like, yeah. And these 2 waitresses come over to our table, and this one begins to start explaining that the manager the night before, the one that I talked to, called the cops and told them about how she was spraying our car with pepper spray and like causing a scene in the restaurant and walked out on her check. and how all of them are drunk and they're probably going to drive home. So the cops pulled up and I guess like started talking to them. And the main girl, the TikTok one, I guess she got a super big attitude and she was the one driving and was like trying to like get in her car, and they arrested her. And yeah, took her to jail for the night. So yeah, she went to jail. And I guess the rest of them had to Uber home. Now, first of all, I just want to say shout out to that waitress for telling me and giving me all the details. She told me this girl with red hair was the one that spoke up and tried to get in the car and got arrested. And the girl that did TikTok was the one that had red hair. So yeah. But anyway, I think that girl learned a few valuable lessons on that night. I think they all did. Number one, you don't drink and drive. That's just number one. Number two, you don't go to a restaurant or a diner or wherever, anywhere out in public when you're that drunk and cause a scene. And number three, you don't pepper spray people's fucking cars, bro. So yeah, she went to jail. One of them went to jail. I'm assuming she got bailed out like the next day. I don't even know what they charged her with. Probably with a couple different things, if I had to guess. So she'll probably be paying some fines, and who knows? Maybe she'll get her license taken away for trying to drive. I don't know. But yeah, she hasn't posted any TikTok since. And I already know you guys want me to drop the TikTok link, but I'm gonna give you the 2 reasons why I'm not doing that. At least not right now. Number one, I don't want her getting hate as much as it'd probably be deserved. I don't want that. That's just not cool. You know, number two, I think if I did drop her link and people did go and, leave comments on her posts and create a problem, I'm pretty sure it's against TOS on YouTube, so I don't want to get in trouble on YouTube either. So unfortunately, you're not getting the link, at least not right now. But I do have a plan. The next time she posts a TikTok, I'm going to message her on my Luna TikTok and tell her that I'm the person from the diner, and I'm going to see if she'd be down to, get on a call on stream or something and have a post-game sober interview about that night and squash the beef or something. So yeah, I mean, stay tuned. Maybe that'll work. That'd be funny. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this story time. That's the end of it. If you enjoyed this story, please leave a like on the video. It's definitely a long one, so if you want more, drop a like. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below, and subscribe if you're new. I will see you guys all later. Peace. I'm staying up